Whatever your attachment style, we as humans are wired for connection. We are biologically driven to experience and have relationships. The thing is, relationships also come with some of our most intense emotions. They bring up our stuff. They bring up what is really going on inside. Our stress responses we see within our relationships, our real limiting beliefs, our blocks come up in relationships. Everyone struggles with this. Two people figuring each other out is not easy. Trying to navigate life together, ideas, values, it's not easy. But for some people, it is really, really challenging. This usually then shows up by avoiding relationships, even if you don't realize it. In fact, I will pop up a video that I have for signs that you are not as available for an available relationship as you think you are, that you might find useful, because it's not always easy to admit that. So this difficulty of having relationships can show up through avoiding relationships, or they show up in relationships that are filled with drama, upset, like chaos, to be honest with you. Repetitive patterns of that usually as well. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why this happens, so that you can take steps in order to change this. So if you have been single for a really long time, or if you are experiencing this drama within your relationships and you can't understand why, then stick around, because I am going to go through some reasons, and you will know when you hear the reasons that apply to you. You'll feel it, you'll know it, and that will tell you your next level. That's going to tell you how you can break free from this and get out of this, because I know that you're ready. I know that you know what you want, but something is likely blocking you. Before we go any further, let me introduce myself. I'm Carly Ann. I support you to interrupt and reshape your attachment style, heal past pain, and develop your true sense of self, so that you can follow your dreams and have extraordinary relationships in your lifetime. Now, I am going to be giving you 7 reasons as to why you're single or attracting the drama, the unavailable relationships, whatever it looks like for you. I just want to have a little side note, okay? This video, this information is assuming that you know something deeper is going on, something deeper is keeping you in the place where you are. So when it comes to your struggle to be in a relationship or to experience a healthy relationship, I'm assuming that you have this inner knowing that's going on. The reason I say that is because sometimes you are single because you want to be. Sometimes you are single because you haven't met your person yet. But like I say, this is for people who know that there is a deeper reason as to why you're still single or still attracting these same painful relationships that you're tired of, that you've had enough of, that you know they're not for you anymore. So let me give you just a few signs of avoiding dating relationships and what it looks like to be attracting that same pattern, those same people. This is just a select few, so if you don't relate to these, that's okay. Let me know in the comments what comes up for you. So a few signs is that you don't put yourself out there and you avoid dating. Maybe you will go on the odd date every now and then, or you'll arrange a date but then you'll cancel it. Maybe you just don't put yourself out there at all. You track the same painful patterns over and over. Same person, they just look different. You like them, they don't like you, or vice versa. They like you, you don't like them. Usually that's when we're looking at that, the chase and the ick. Your anxiety, neediness, clinginess gets in the way. It interrupts the dating process or relationships either very early on or to quite a large extent. You're having unhealthy relationships. There's a lack of evidence or history of a safe, secure relationship. And unfortunately, that probably then means that you think, oh, your future relationships will be like that. That is not the case. It does not have to be that way. You're here, you're making changes, you have a secure self inside of you. You just need to access them. Okay, so let's go with the 7 reasons that I'm sharing today that you find yourself long-term single, attracting unhealthy relationships, or finding yourself just in the same rhythm when it comes to dating, relationships, and you want something new. You want to experience meaningful, extraordinary, safe, secure dating and relationships. You can provide that for yourself. Now, I must say with these 7 reasons, there can be like some crossovers, but I just really wanted to make sure that I get everything covered. So there might be some similarities, but they all count. So I'm going to share them with you so that you can see them as well. So here are 7 reasons. So the first is that you are at the hands of inner conflict. I know it so well. I know this feeling. This is the conflict to have love, experience love, give love, versus that part of you that wants to be alone, that feels safer to be alone, that wants to be that independent person. That conflict can really stop you from putting yourself out there. The other thing about this conflict is it's often internal, so you might not realize. You might just be tuned into one part. You might just be tuned into the part that wants love, and that's what you're focused on. So it makes no sense to you why it's not happening. Yet there is this other part of you that is being dismissed or ignored, that is afraid of that, because you feel like, what if I meet someone and then I can't have X, or this happens or that happens? And so there's this inner conflict that we need to become aware of. That's just a few examples that I gave there, but usually there is some kind of block going on that we need to uncover. And when you know that, when you know what these conflicts are, and there can be more than just 2, it's really going to give you like an upper hand when it comes to changing this pattern that you're in. Secondly, is that you have been deeply hurt in the past. You've been hurt, betrayed, let down. Especially maybe you might have experienced this in childhood, but it doesn't have to have been childhood. And this means that now relationships are perceived as a threat to you. They are a threat. And because of that, we protect ourselves. We're in survival mode. And what can happen there is that you can develop what I've put as the 3rd reason, which is a phobia of attachment, a fear of getting close to people, a fear of letting people in, because what if it happens again? And we often feel like we can't handle rejection. We can't handle if it happens again. We won't be able to cope. I can't handle heartbreak again. Not to mention that we make it mean something about ourselves personally when that happens. So we can have this phobia of attachment, and so it can seem easier to stay single or to keep putting these walls up, to keep pushing love away when we do have a chance of experiencing it. Similar to that is the phobia of attachment loss. And that is the fear of losing them. So once you have that closeness, the fear that they're going to leave, the fear that everyone leaves, the fear that it won't last, and you'll be constantly anticipating the ending of this. And so rather than get yourself into that situation, you might just decide, I want to stay in my happy single bubble where I don't experience that. Or again, and it's often unconscious and you won't even know you're doing it, will sabotage. You'll push them away before they can get too close, before they can be the one to leave. It's almost like, let me prove my thoughts right. Let me make this happen sooner rather than later, because you're expecting it. And we can manifest, when we're thinking these things all the time, our behaviors will then be a result of that, and we manifest what it is that we're thinking. You're stuck on a safety story that you believe. So this is reason number 5. This is preventing you from putting yourself out there and opening your heart. That story you might tell yourself is, I already met the one. There are no good ones left. I already had what was love. I'm never going to have it again. We'll have stories that we believe. And because of that, we don't open our hearts. We don't try again. We believe the story that we are telling ourselves. We believe that the last one was the last one. We're never going to meet anyone again. Never going to feel that way again. It's actually a block to prevent you from trying again. But we have to try again. It's the risk that does come with opening your heart. I know it's vulnerable. And that's why I always say to people, have your coach, have trusted friends that support you, find your community. My membership is a great example of that, because you're going to feel stronger when you know that you have other people, other forms of love. You cope with your fears through self-destruction. I already touched on this one, the sabotaging, the pushing people away. It's before we can get hurt, before that fear can come true. Because of whatever your experience is, I don't know that without speaking to you, but something has told you, probably not consciously, that this experience that you're having is safer than what it is that you think that you want. It's safer than the closeness. It's safer than letting this relationship grow. It's safer to push them away, to avoid it, to not have it, because of the same reasons we think we can't cope. And finally, you are in a pattern of self-neglect, and deep down, you don't believe that you are deserving of love. Now, this is usually when we're looking at that inner child work, and we can convince ourselves, no, I do think I'm deserving, but there is this part of you that you might not have accessed yet, or you have, that doesn't believe that you are good enough or worthy of experiencing a happy, healthy love. And on top of that, we're in this pattern of self-neglect. A long time ago, you neglected your needs. You learned to neglect yourself, or it was the safest thing to do. And if you're neglecting yourself, you can guarantee you're going to accept poor treatment in relationships, or you're going to continue to neglect yourself first before anyone else can. And so when you can start to access the core of you, the part that knows your worth, your lovability, what you are deserving of, not only are you going to open your heart for love and relationships, but you're also going to realize so many other great elements of your life that you are deserving of. Because really what we want to be deserving of self-love. So one of the reasons that you are absolutely going to open yourself up is because you're going to learn to love yourself first and stop neglecting yourself. That's going to change everything. That's going to change all of these points that you see. When you start to love yourself and reteach yourself how to experience relationships, starting with yourself, it changes everything. So what next? Honestly, with this topic, I suggest that you book a call with me and let's discuss your journey to breaking free from this rhythm and cycle that you are currently in, so that you can find freedom. And we can discuss that. We can discuss on a call what your next moves are. What is your next level? And I see this happen all the time. I see people, they come to me with a certain template, certain beliefs, feelings, experiences around love, around relationships, and we are able to rewrite that and change that. So I hope you found that useful. Please subscribe, leave in the comments your key takeaway, anything that you want me to expand on. And do not forget, you're enough, you are lovable, you are so, so worthy, and you are irreplaceable.